welcome back to CD Bath. And I'm so sorry there was a little delay this time in putting up the episode because we were preparing for the best. And as you know, there were a lot of exams lined up here in India, the entrances and the final year examinations. So we were a bit occupied. But we are back again with another video podcast, and this time with a very, very special guest. She is from Nigeria. We have Mary Jane with her. As beautiful is her name, as beautiful she is. She is a wonderful human being who's pursuing her education in Nigeria. She's working a lot in a lot of different domains. Basically, she is a podcaster and she talks about my favorite topic. She talks about life, happiness, and different sort of gifts connected with certain issues of life. She'll be elaborating on it further with us. Today, she's here with us to talk about the positive effects and the side effects of the pandemic on the youth. As you know, we have successfully entered and, in fact, completed the 6th month of the lockdown, at least here in India. But all over the globe, there has been lockdown for a minimum of 6 months, and we are all trapped inside. There has been, a certain effect and a side effect on people all over the globe. We'll be talking about youth specifically because that's the time where that's the age group where we're going to focus, and that's the age group which should be, lifted up so that the future seems bright. And hence, without any further ado, we have our very special guest, Mary Jane. After a lot of efforts, we have got her here finally. So stay tuned to listen to her. Welcome, Mary. How are you? How's your lockdown going? And what's up?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you very much.
Oh,
I'm
thanks
really glad
to
to be here.
thanks to you because we finally got you. Oh.
I know, right? Thank you very much.
So, Mary, if you could just give a very brief introduction about yourself, your work, your life to all our guests so that they know you better, it would be great.
Okay. My name is Maryjane Awkwaeze Onyinyechi. I'm from Nigeria, like you said earlier. I'm Igbo, and I'm a graduate of chemical engineering, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Nigeria. I'm a podcaster by profession currently. Yeah, so that's just basically it.
Amazing. It's so good to you have a great vibe with podcasters because then they know exactly what to do when they are in the podcast. So it's good to have someone who is very much used to talking, and she does amazing job, guys. I'll let you know the channel name that she has. It's on Spotify. I'll let you know in the end, and you can always stay tuned. You can always listen to her amazing voice. She's mesmerizing. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
my first question, it's not even a question, actually, it's a general, something I'm very curious to know about. Given that you chose this topic that you'll be talking about the positive effects and the side effects, we'll go with the positive effects first. So I want to know from you, Jane, what is your observation about, how the youth was before this pandemic, like in the starting of the year 2020, and what changes do you observe in people, the global youth in general, whether it's on social media, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your own friend circle or whatever? What's the basic attitude change that you have observed in the last like 6 to 7 months? What positives have happened?
Okay, so before the pandemic, young people were actually used to a particular kind of routine. They had free access to go to anywhere, there were no restrictions. And people did not really realize that there'll be a time when the pandemic was going to come and it's going to affect your movement. It's going to affect you going out to get something that you want. It's going to affect you going to the movies. It's going to affect you going to the field to watch to see a match and all of that. So this pandemic is like an eye opener for all young people to understand that there are a lot of positive effects. The first one that I'm going to say is it helped youth to understand that their phones and their systems can be used to pursue money. You people before now were already used to texting and watching random videos, but because of the pandemic, because there were restrictions, now you get to see that instead of going to YouTube to watch normal videos and random videos, people went to YouTube to learn how to bake, to learn how to dance, to learn how to work out, learn business in online classes. I also went to YouTube to learn how to dance because I don't know how to dance.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just another one that it actually did was it brought unity amongst family. Before the pandemic, it's very difficult for you to see young people around with their mom and their dad. But now you are restricted. You cannot go anywhere. You have to go back home. So everybody were together. And I don't know, I saw a lot of videos, competitions. You see families doing downstairs competitions among families. So this pandemic brought unity amongst family.
Yeah.
Another one that it did is it made us to understand the value of time. You know, before now, people did not regard time. They cared less about time. But the pandemic actually made us to realize that every second matter, every second counts. So whatever thing that you are doing, you should be watchful. You should know that every time matter. Another stuff that it did was it made us to understand that we need a backup plan. You know, it's just like the churches. If they did not have the backup plan of online services, churches would have closed.
Yeah.
But because they have backup plans, so you see that they did not close. It's just soldiers too. When you're going for a war, you need a backup plan. You need to have a plan A and a plan B. So young people were actually, this pandemic actually opened our eyes that you need a backup plan. You know, he who doesn't plan plans to fail. So yeah, that's the major things that the pandemic did for it. It also made a lot of individuals to be financially independent, young people to be financially independent. Okay, before now, you could call your mom, your dad, or your guardian to send you money, but you are home now. You don't need any money. What are you? Why do you need money from them? What's the reason? Why are you calling them for money? You're all at home. But as you are home now, you start to think, how can I actually get money?
Yeah.
What can I do to make money for myself? You see, the pandemic gave you the time to think, what can I do to make money for myself? Should I attend classes? Should I learn graphic designing? Should I learn content creating? Should I be a podcaster? Yeah. So all these things that we actually realized in this pandemic. The last one I can think of right now is it made us to realize the value of skill acquisition. You know, people that have handwork, that know how to sew, people that know how to bake, they really made money this period. People that knew how to sew and make shoes, make hair, all this handwork, they really made money this period. So imagine if you are among those young people that actually have the skill acquisition. So it made us realize the importance of having a skill as a youth. That's the major things and the positive things that the pandemic did for young people. Yeah.
Yeah, adding to all of this, I think the best point which I loved was it gave you time to think, because otherwise in our busy lives we just ran after certain things. You know, for students it was marks, for other people for job, the people who are in job or corporates it was promotion, and there were certain very small targets that we had behind which we ran, and we kind of gave our whole life and our personality to that particular thing. But in the lockdown, of course, it has taught us the best thing it has taught us is patience, to be seated at one place in the four walls and still be living. Because very honestly, even I used to think that if at all I'm trapped in four walls, I just cannot breathe. Because I am a very proactive person. That way, I would like just travel all the time, roam about here and there, and stay in college even after my college hours and do something creative. It was like way too proactive for sitting in a room, and I really thought that I just cannot do it. But in the last 6 to 7 months, I've just been sitting in my home and still be of course being doing a lot of things, but then it teaches you patience, which is the very foundation of a happy life for you. That's great. You gave some amazing insights.
Became YouTuber, they figured that they can actually talk and people would listen. They can create beautiful things. This pandemic made us to think that there are a lot of businesses that you can do with your phone, and you've not been do it because of you're busy, you're up and down, you're in school, you're walking to the class, you're walking to the road. Every time you're up and about. Yeah.
Yeah. It gave you time to, acknowledge other person's good things, and it also gave you time to show up your skills and talents on whatever platforms possible. And see, by the virtue of lockdown and thanks to the strong internet connection, we are like in different continents, but we're still talking and we are able to relate on a single topic. That's really amazing. Oh well, Jane. Having said that, I have a very I don't know if I should call this a question again or not, but there's this issue that I've observed. apart from many other side effects of lockdown, in terms of mental health, in terms of when you say that we have got time with our families, there also has been a lot of friction in a lot of families, because it's when you stay away that you kind of, I've personally felt this, that when you stay away, when I was in my hostel, I had a very different perspective towards my family, and you had a different kind of attachment, that string that always attached to you. When you are here already in your home, then the ones who are not used to staying in bigger families or in their families probably have problem in settling, and they do face issues like friction. They do face issues like constant disagreements happening, all of that. Having said all of that, there are also issues of people excessively using social media, right? So, because the pandemic came in, and initially, I think for the first 3 to 4 months, people had no idea what to do. Even those who have done something at the end of the lockdown, they could figure it out only after some time. And in that process, we kind of became proactive on social media, right? And I just want to know from you, what is the reason of why does social media experience become toxic for people? And what is the main reason behind people becoming way too competitive on social media?
Okay, the first thing is, at some point, people were not used to the fact of being locked in the house.
Yeah.
They were already used to daily activities, moving out and moving in. For some people, going out and coming in was the way for them to find joy. When they see people, they just smile, and that was restricted. So it brought about the increase of social media. People had to look for some other thing that would make them not be bored. Like, for example, me, I had to get deeply into social media because I was looking forward to watching videos. I was looking forward to meeting up with some competitions that was going on. So I wanted to watch and all of that. So, when you keep looking forward to them, it means that you're going to continue coming online.
Yeah.
So I think that's a major thing that happened, that made a lot of people run into social media, because there was nothing much to do. The first 3 months, people were confused. Like, okay, at first they thought maybe after 2 months, everybody will be free out.
The
So
biggest flex.
people, let's just rest, let's flex. Yeah. But then after two continued, and you're like, okay, 3 months, let's continue. So the fact of being confused or not used to the life of staying indoors, that took everybody to social media, because social media is a place where you meet everybody. Yeah, just like you and I right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I mean. We have had discussions about these before as well, Jane. That social media cannot be like targeted for anything, because it's again a platform given to you which you can either use in a positive way or use in a negative way. But I see this.
Yeah.
During the lockdown, one more thing that I observed was excess social media usage also increased agitation in people, also increased competition in people. It put people in self doubt, and sometimes I do experience this as well. There's like a flood of things on social media, and you at some point start contemplating and forget your way. So what is the reason behind that according to you, and what suggestion do you give?
Okay, for young people, it's just in a circle of friends. Now, let's give an instance. I started doing something and it's going so well for me. Now, instead of my friend to look at what I'm doing and be motivated, rather they'll be envious because that which I am acquiring, they don't have it.
Yeah.
So you see the hate, the doubt, the self-doubt, they could be like, what is she doing that I am not doing? And it starts to soak in, and they get envious of you.
Yeah.
So that one is one major thing. And some people too, if they don't get the capital that they really need, I'm talking about young people,
Yeah.
and they see that you have that capital, they start to wonder, what exactly are you doing? What do you have that they don't have? And they get really envious. Some people, at some point, it was as if they were against each other. They were opponents. They were fighting. And all of these things was because of the things that you were seeing up on social media. Is it because a lot of people ventured into businesses this period? And when you venture into a business and it's not working well, and you're seeing that your friend is working well, humans by default are evil people. I'm sorry to say, but it's the truth. So when you see that your friend is doing really well, you get jealous and you are angry and you're not happy for that person. Instead of you to be happy for the person, instead of you to be motivated, instead of you to create your and do well at it, you leave that person You leave what you're supposed to do for yourself, and you're looking at that person, and that is
Yeah.
wrong. It makes you second best. You keep looking up to that person. And I think that's like the major thing that happened amongst young people. You trying to get into the media to do something for yourself, you have haters, you have people that are not happy that you are doing this. And most of the times, those people are your friends.
Yeah. Very true.
Mm.
So most
Yeah.
times when and the person as near it is to you, it's there are high chances of you getting negatively affected. Although I do think, it's all about how you feel about things and how you train your mind, because there are certain points when you really get inspired by someone. Suppose I heard your podcast for the first time and I was really inspired by the fact that you take it forward in a very smooth manner, which is appreciable. Now, at that point of
Okay.
time, yeah, it's very easy to develop a hard feelings. But I feel if you train your mind in a way that you look up to people as inspirations, it can be,
Yes.
kind of be dealt with.
That actually have this kind of mindset. This is what everybody is supposed to have. This is what young people are supposed to have. You're supposed to train yourself to be motivated, to see them as mentors, learn from them. Instead of trying to be competitive, learn from them. But most people are not like that, sadly.
It's true. Well, I have another curiosity question for you, Jane. How did you get this idea of starting a podcast and that too on such a topic? First of all, I would like you to give a brief introduction about your podcast and then tell what it is about, and then how you got this idea and when did you start?
Okay, my podcast is named Gist with Queen J. Okay, people be wondering where's Queen J. Queen J is my nickname. It's my Instagram and Twitter name, KWINJAE.
Ah,
So that's of my podcast. And I figured that young people would be interested in stuff pertaining to relationship, just pertaining to relationship, sex, love, breakup, cheating, because this is like our circle of life right now. So when you get to listen to someone that has an idea about love, about relationship, you want to learn. So that's like the inspiration. So I started going into research. I started watching videos. I was just checking up things online, reading books. How can I fix a relationship? A lot of people go through breakups and they don't seem to understand why or what went wrong or what you can actually do to prevent such heartbreaks. So that's like the inspiration. And now the lockdown is also like, I'm going to say that I'm one of the people that benefited during this lockdown. At the first 2 months, I was really bored. Like, this was not the life I was used to, staying all at home every day.
plus
So
one.
I'm like, okay, what can I actually do? What can I do to keep myself busy?
Mhm.
I started reading novels, but it wasn't working all the time. I could read and just sleep off, read and just sleep off. It wasn't working all the time. I had times where I see movies too, but I wanted to impact on people. That's the point. So I said, okay, I got this app, Anchor. I was like, good, this is the perfect time to work. Since we're all less busy, we're all at home, I can send the link to people. Click on it, listen. If you like it, then you can repost, send it to your friends. And the first time I did it, boom, I got a lot of reposts, I got a lot of listeners. I was so excited. And I was like, okay, this is good. This is
That's a
good.
great
I can
start,
continue.
yeah. Yeah,
I drop the link every Friday and I talk about relationship, I talk about love, I talk about God, I talk about breakup, I talk about everything, life achievements, goals,
yeah.
everything. Basically,
I think these are some issues, which we tend to. I think I personally feel, at least here in my country, we tend to push this under the carpet. We try to ignore these issues, saying that maybe talking about these would motivate young people, young children towards the negative direction. But I pretty much feel even if you don't talk about it, people tend to experience all of this because this is human tendency. These are like very natural things. You just cannot stop love from coming to you if it's coming to you, okay, just by not talking about it. So probably talking about these issues is really important in my opinion, because these days I think most of the youth is stuck with these problems only, to be very honest. We talk about a lot of
yes.
things. We talk about gender equality, we talk about environment, we talk about culture, we talk about education, so many things. But the real
Yeah.
problem that lies in youth is how they are stuck in understanding the processes that work on, in especially in teenage and even elderly people. Those who have crossed their age of youth, which is like 30 plus whatever, even they are facing issues in actually keeping up with their relationships. They are breaking apart, and I think at least now we need to realize that there is definitely a need to talk about these issues, guys, because if she is talking and at least two people are learning from her podcast, then maybe they can save their lives, they can save their relationships, or they can save their breakdowns that they undergo after all of this. It's pretty, I think it's a great idea actually. You've given me a great, I always want to talk about such issues, but then again, social restrictions do not allow us to speak about certain things openly. But again, you motivated me. Sorry, Jane.
Did you say in your country?
Yeah, in my country, I mean, here it's a belief here that we don't very openly talk about these things. So yeah, but I think I've seen a lot of people facing these issues. In fact, all the people facing these issues. So it's a great job that you're doing. Keep it up. Okay, so because I think we have talked about a lot of things, it's like she gave the crisp answer to my question in the beginning itself, and now it's just a free running conversation, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. By the way, Jane, Jane, just let me know what else do you think are the side effects of lockdown? I mean, what in your observation for the youth especially?
The side effects of lockdown.
I mean, I think a
I
lot of
don't know.
relationships are also suffering in this distance.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Like I'm suffering, because it's been a while that I saw.
That's what I do see this happening a lot. I mean, no wonder it's not happening with me, but it happens with so many people around, and people are just stuck away, stuck beyond
I
the.
was always find a way out.
I just lost you, Jane. Could you just repeat it?
Was always find a way out, maybe through video calls and normal calls. Just find a way out to
No
reach
wonder
out
we
to them.
started respecting WhatsApp video calls and other platforms so much in the lockdown. I'm kind of losing your voice, Jane.
You can hear me.
Now I can hear you. Yeah, in between, I'm kind of losing your voice. Okay, Jane. I think so. It's actually a great meeting, and Jane has a very busy schedule, and she has taken out 20-25 minutes for us, which is a great thing. I'm really thankful to her for that. Well, do you have any message for the youth that's listening to you at the moment? That message could be open-ended, related to anything, because I think this podcast was also very free moving.
Okay, so I'm going to really encourage and say people that have started something this lockdown, I want you to continue it. I want you to be focused. So even after the lockdown is over, do not stop doing what you're doing, because you are doing well for yourself. You are improving yourself. You're motivating yourself. So I really want to commend and encourage all the youth that have started something, and people that have not started something. I need you to go out there, learn a skill, learn something. It could be writing, it could be content creating, it could be being a YouTuber, it could be learning how to make hair, anything. Just learn something, so just in case this kind of thing happens again, you won't be caught up in a situation whereby you don't have money or you don't have anything doing for yourself. So that's the message.
Oh my God, I'm so inspired by the way you just say so many things in such less words. That's amazing. That's such a talent. Well, Jane, I'll be leaving. I'm not able to leave you actually. If you could just also drop in some tips and tricks as to how you stay positive in the lockdown, that would be really helpful for us.
Oh, I was working out. I will not even hide that, because at the beginning I was eating too much and I was getting fat. So I started working out.
Just one.
So you should work. You don't work out, you get so fat. So you should work out.
In the first 3 months, mom was all up to just feeding us. Like, oh my God, my kid was in the hostel. She really needs food. She's becoming a patient of marasmus at the moment. I really need to feed my kid all the time, 24 hours in a day. And eventually the kid landed up becoming a potato, which is good. Which is good. I mean, all body shapes are amazing. But then again, if you were very self-conscious, then you would probably want to work out and reduce your fat and stuff. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much. I think all of you guys can connect with Jane on Instagram or on Twitter. She's quite active on LinkedIn as well. because she has a very, very busy schedule. You can always listen to her on her podcast. What's it? Is it on Spotify, Jane?
Yes, it's on Spotify, it's on Anchor, is on Baker, and then it's on Google Podcast.
And now on Google as well. Yeah, I was going to say that now on Google as well. We'll also be available on Google, guys. Thank you so much, Jane. It was a pleasure talking to you. You're such a positive person. Thank you for joining us and thank you for sharing your insights. I really hope, guys, you got an idea because most of us were in you know, decline and not a grief phase. I hope now that you've heard from Jane and from me, you can at least recognize where you're going wrong or where you're going right, what you should keep on with, what you should probably drop out. If you have adopted any bad habits like binge watching or sleeping over time or eating too much, guys, get rid of it. It's almost the end of the lockdown. Universities and colleges are opening. You have to get back in shape. You have to get back in form. And if you guys have started working on something, keep on working. Even if you face a lot of resistance, count that as your appreciation and keep going, because if no one resists you at all, then you are definitely wrong somewhere. If there is a little bit of a resistance, that means you're going right. Keep up with the spirit of familyness, as Jane told. Those of you who are living with your families and have developed that really warm space with them, keep it up. Don't run away from them after the lockdown. Reduce, or at least I would say, take care, keep a check on your social media usage so that you don't run into problems, because in the
Mm.
lockdown it has been discussed many times that we're all running into problems like self-doubt, jealousy, aggression, and a lot of different things. Whatever is happening on social media is not hidden from us anymore. It's a very toxic platform to be on 24 by 7, without a reason, without a purpose. So yes, make sure that you do that. I hope you liked this video. It was a little, here and there, but I really hope you enjoyed the talk. And thank you, Jane, again. Stay tuned with us. We'll be up with many more episodes with many more amazing guests. Be positive, keep smiling, and enjoy your lockdown. If you're over the lockdown, enjoy your regular life, but just be happy and keep inspiring everyone. Thank you. See you later.
Bye.